SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
For year-round comfort you can count on, call Max Heating and Air. Serving the Pine Belt and surrounding areas, they handle heating, cooling, spray foam insulation, duct cleaning, and more. Quality service, trusted experts. Call Max Heating and Air at 601-649-4087.
And now, Sports.
Get ready, sports fans. It's time for Chasing Foul Balls on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5 and streaming worldwide on the SuperTalk Mississippi app and on your Amazon Alexa devices. Chasing Foul Balls, your weekly source for all the sports news and interviews important to Southwest Mississippi. Chasing Foul Balls is presented by First Bank. And now, here's your host, Robbie Hamilton.
Well, good Friday morning, everybody, and welcome to Chasing Foul Balls right here on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5. Back again.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Road Fridays come around quite regularly.
And we missed one because he was gone.
Yeah, had to go.
Take care of family.
I had to go graduate.
Yeah, right.
And my grandson, graduate, was going to college in biochemical engineering research.
You gonna help tutor him in that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna say, good job. You're doing the right thing.
I can't even spell all that.
Me, that's what. Sure didn't get it on this thing. Probably there.
You don't think he'd be spending any time in the barn, huh, Richard?
No.
For research, he may have to go to the barn. You know, you never can tell.
That's true.
Our guest this morning, Furr from Y'all Sports, will join us to talk about what's happening locally, and then the head coach of Simpson Academy, the state champion at what's that,
I don't know, Robbie.
4A Class 2. The Simpson Academy squad won that count. Keith Case will join us. We'll talk to Keith in just a little bit. First thing this morning, we got to get started. Richard, we'll start with you. Kyle Busch passes away. A NASCAR legend is gone. What could you tell us?
Well, Robbie, it was. I knew he was doing some illness because I'd listened to the race a couple of weeks ago, and he wanted the doctor at the end of the race to get him a shot, and it was announced it was a sinus infection, and he wins the truck race last Friday at Dover, and then about Tuesday, I think it was announced that he had an illness and was hospitalized, and that he wouldn't be racing at Charlotte this weekend. Well, you know, it happens. We all get sick at times. But then yesterday, watching one of the baseball games, it just came across the scroll on ESPN that he had died, 41 years old. And it's just been – I was listening to NASCAR radio coming over here, and we're still all in shock to some extent, Neil. We're just – it's, you know, an icon in the sport – when they're lost suddenly like this, it takes a while to process it. I remember when we lost Dale Earnhardt, but a great champion. He was one of those guys, you either loved him or you hated him, but you respected him because he was a hell of a race car driver.
But you still don't have a cause of death.
Not clearly. Everybody's speculating pneumonia and different other things, but obviously the sinus infection and the treatment that he needed for the race at Watkins Glen kind of must have been something that led to it, but there's not been no official release from the family or NASCAR.
You could tell I'm out of practice. I forgot to say who was with me this morning. The old farts are here. Mr. Randall, the professor, how are you?
I am really good, but my feelings are hurt by the way y'all been picking on me this
Where'd you
morning.
Get those shoes, Neil? That's what I want to know.
They were a gift.
Yeah, because they come from the coast?
No. Like from Meridian, Mississippi.
You believe that stuff?
Well, I know he's got them. That's all I can say for sure. How he got them or I'm not going to go there.
I'm voting they came from the south. Not the west or the east, but from the south.
Just understand one thing.
What's
both
that?
Of you birds. These are some high-end kicks.
I tell you what, for you to wear them, they have to be high-end because that's just you, high-end Neil, isn't
That's it, baby. Yeah.
Ole Miss biggest rival, Richard. What is it now?
In all sports or just?
Ole Miss's biggest rival. We'll just leave it at that. What is the Ole Miss's biggest rival now?
Well, I still probably say it's Mississippi State. I think LSU's probably, maybe a close second. Some people might put them first. We still love to beat them at everything we do. They love to beat us at everything they do. They would probably say LSU. I don't know if LSU people would say that, but I know Ole Miss people say that. So I'd say probably us, but a close second would be LSU.
Well, I agree. I agree almost totally there, Richard. Mississippi State and Ole Miss, I mean, that's just a historical kind of thing. But with the behavior of Coach Kiffin, I'm going to say LSU's gotten a lot closer.
They might have jumped us at that point. But to quote a dear friend of ours, Big Daddy Reese Nunnery, a true rivalry is a game that both teams between them have equal chance of winning. Because once you dominate somebody for a while, it's not really a rivalry anymore. Maybe in your mind it is, but not in reality. Here lately in football, it hadn't been a reality from the state side. But it's still, as you said, in-state people who we live with every day. We want to have that little bit of up when we speak to them. So that's the way I'd go.
All right, who's hosting and who's not? We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. They'll announce it on Monday of the 3 Mississippi schools. Anybody past Southern Miss a lock to be a host for the regional?
Mississippi State's going to probably host a first round. They won't host a super. I thought if everybody kept saying that, well, if we beat Georgia, we'll host a super, kept saying no, we'd have to beat Georgia and beat Alabama or whoever we played next. But I think we'll be in the lower rung, probably between 10 and 14 somewhere in a host site. Southern Miss is going to, and if they win the Sun Belt Conference, I don't know if that's enough to give them a super regional host, but they're going to probably be close.
I tend to agree with Richard, although I wouldn't be surprised if Mississippi State did not host. But I hope they do. Be a big economic boost for the state of Mississippi.
Southern Miss, their 10th straight 40-win season this year. Coach Ostrander, the coach of the year in the Sun Belt. Graydon Harris, the pitcher of the year in the Sun Belt. Southern Miss comes from behind, or from the back of the pack, I reckon you should say, to win the Sun Belt regular season championship. Another great baseball year for the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, I guess in a long baseball season, you're going to go through periods of slumps, if you want to call them that. Well, Southern Miss hit that stretch, and everybody was like, oh, my gosh, oh, my gosh. Well, when they flipped the coin, they made a run. I think they win 9 of their last conference games. But they got some help from Coastal Carolina taking their little slide at the wrong time of the season, because that's what allowed Southern Miss to take advantage of the wins that they had, as it put them in first place and won the championship. So, hats off to Coach Ostrander and the Eagles.
Yeah, the Southern plays an early game today. I don't remember exactly what time.
Yeah, if they got the one last night finished, because I was watching it was pouring down rain.
Yeah.
So.
Thomas, help me out, Richard.
Valinkis. Tomas Valinkis.
Because he says it one way, his brother says another, his mother says it a third way. So
Tomas Valinkis.
Tomas Valinkis, we'll go with that. Wins the Ferris Trophy. Any surprise at that?
No.
Best baseball player in Mississippi?
Well, I think pretty much by far this year.
Yeah.
He was lights out on the mound for State.
He had one bad outing. Back in about the third or fourth start of the season. But other than that, you could staple him down for 6 or 7 innings. He was going to strike out 8 or 9 guys. He was going to give up maybe 1, 2, 3 runs. And as we all know, if your starting pitcher gives you a chance to win in the 7th inning, then he's done his job, and he did it as good as anybody.
We'll talk with Cliff Furr in just a little bit about all the changes in the coaches as far as high schools and all this area. But, guys, have y'all ever seen as many coaches being changed as close to home? Lawrence County comes to Brookhaven. Brookhaven comes to Macomb. Brookhaven Academy comes to Park Lane Academy. ASC baseball coach goes to Brookhaven Academy. Have you seen so many coaching changes? Not the changes, but the fact they were changed so close to home.
You would think they'd know one another too well by now to do all of that.
That was it. To be hired sometimes.
Exactly.
Robbie, I was actually thinking about that riding over here this morning. I was like, my gosh, I mean, every time you pick up the paper or you look on the phones about the stories, I mean, they're moving across town or they're moving.
Basically, yeah.
It just
20, 30 miles at the most.
And that was going to be what precipitates all this? I mean, you're winning, but you're going to go across the street.
Well,
I don't know.
You know, the stars have to be aligned for such as this to happen. Now, why it happened, I have no clue. I have no take on this at all.
And thinking back, you know, when I moved to this area for the first 10 or 12, 15 years I was living, the same football coaches were at the same schools for all those years,
and and basketball,
and basketball too.
A lot more stable, shall we say? Yeah,
but not now.
One of the favorite announcements this week: Ed Ogeron going back to LSU to be an assistant coach, putting Ogeron and Kiffin in the same room. That's got to create some kind of excitement, Richard.
Yeah, I just hope they let Coach Ode handle the press conferences.
Yeah.
It'll probably be a lot more exciting.
I don't know now. Kiffin makes pretty exciting stuff happen.
Well, wait a minute now. Does this mean that Coach O's monthly stipend from LSU on the buyout gets cut?
Well, he's getting $100,000. I don't know if that's part of his other end or not. Well, of course, his wife still going to get half of this probably, so...
Well, it's just, you know, he goes it last year. He kind of made mention that he was kind of getting the itch again about wanting to, you know, get back into coaching, and just kind of kept, and we know as Mike Detillier said yesterday on WWL, he said, you know, he's one of the best defensive line coaches there is. He said, I put him up against anybody, and to recruit the state of Louisiana like he can, I mean, people want to go there and play, so. It's going to be, but it'll be fun to watch.
But it's just a visual of Ed Ogeron coming back to LSU. Now, let's see. LSU fired the basketball coach but rehired him. They fired a football coach, but they've rehired him. They brought Kiffin in. Lord have mercy. What's going to be next down there?
I'd be afraid to hazard a guess.
Really, you know.
We don't have our crystal ball. It's busted.
But if you're an LSU fan, everybody is protecting the image and everybody's protecting the coaches. If you're not LSU fans, everybody's piling on right now.
Yeah, that's true. And the basketball thing is the thing that just knocks me over. I mean, my gosh, guys. I mean, it's. If this continues and the NCAA or somebody don't step in and do something, it's going to make college basketball. It's going to be a bigger joke.
I think it already is.
Yeah, maybe so.
Did y'all see where LSU's roster? Excuse me. LSU's roster, as it's set, will be older than the San Antonio Spurs roster.
And a couple of those guys have already signed pro contracts.
Will that work? Will they get them eligible?
Well, I don't know, Robbie. I mean, the NCAA's gotten to the point where they don't want to challenge anybody. And
well, they can't win. So.
They know they can't win, but then the Alabama, the guy that was at Alabama last year, the mid-season, got declared ineligible. So who knows? But you got to give Wade one thing. He's willing to jump off in it and see how far it goes and who's going to say no.
Yeah, he's going to push it as far as they will allow him to push it, and then maybe another step or two just to see if he can get that extra step. Don't forget about the Colin and Pearl River softball. They're playing at the NJCAA World Series. Both win their first two games. Former Brookhaven Academy standout Anna Elise Duncan for Pearl River throws a no-hitter in her first game at the World Series. Addison Lindley, the pitcher for Colin, threw a perfect game in her first game of the tournament. So off to a good start for both Colin and Pearl River in the softball World Series. So it'll be interesting to see how that works itself out.
Yeah, and think I saw on the sports this morning that Belhaven is one win away from going to the World Series, and had one of the videos was Libby Gillihan getting a base hit and driving in a couple of runs. So that softball in this state has made a tremendous rise in the last 5 or 10 years, guys. It's just we got top-notch softball everywhere.
Yeah, it really has. I watched a clip or two of what you're talking about last night, and they won, I think, 5-1 last night, and playing again today against, I think, a school from Wisconsin, maybe, at Belhaven. But Coach Griffin doing a great job up there.
Women's softball played their super regionals. Well, they started yesterday. Mississippi State at 12 noon today against Oklahoma. LSU later tonight down at LSU. That will get those underway. We'll come back. We'll get started. We'll talk with Cliff Furr right after we take this time out. Chasing Foul Balls presented by First Bank right here on SuperTalk Pike County. Welcome back, Chasing Foul Balls on this Friday morning here in Southwest Mississippi. Glad to have you along. Glad to be back with you. One other thing, before we get to Cliff Furr, Caston Thompson, the big slugging first baseman, left-handed batter, playing at Nichols by way of Brookhaven Academy at Pearl River Community College, has announced that he's going to jump into the transfer portal for his final year. Sounds like a Russo replacement to me.
Somebody's going to take a chance. But I, the one thing about jumping in this thing is, we found out with LSU that just because they can do it at one level don't mean they can do it at another level. Not saying this young man can't, but it might be a different animal. But somebody's going to give him a chance.
Somebody's going to roll the dice.
You got that
exactly right, Richard.
I tell you, bat from the left side, big boy.
Yes, sir.
Makes the Southern Miss
they're going to need one
for Russo, a pretty good situation. Well, let's get to going about who really knows this kind of stuff. We're just speculating. The sports guru of Southwest Mississippi. The sports guru of South Mississippi. Clifton Furr, also the head person of y'all sports, joins us. How are you, Cliff?
Yeah, I'm the CEO and head janitor of y'all sports, Robbie.
I understand. I understand. You answer the phone and take pictures and whatever it takes, don't you?
That's right. Answer DMs from moms asking why I haven't posted about their child. I see it all, man.
How many of those do you get a week?
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, I've said, a lot of folks do like Patreon and they do like, hey, this is behind the scenes, and I've said we might start like a Patreon for y'all sports where if you pay like a $10 subscription, I'll give you access to my DMs that I receive, and I receive like 10, 20 a day, and it's usually somebody either mad that I left the E off the end of their kid's name or wondering why I haven't let everybody know that Kahoma offered their kids. So.
I thought you was going to say if they'd give you $10 or $20, you'd make sure you got them on there.
Hey, that's a model that some people use, but I always say at y'all sports, we're not trying to just cover the rich schools. We're trying to cover everybody.
You just a good old boy, aren't you, Cliff?
Well, I'll let my wife would say that. Yeah. I think that.
I understand that. Let's go to work. There's a lot of coaching changes I wanted to get to you about, and we had mentioned earlier, the thing that surprises me about all these coaching changes is the fact that people just moved across town. You had Florence County going to Brookhaven, Brookhaven going to Macomb. You just keep going in circles. I don't think I've ever seen as many local coaches changing to local schools as I saw this year.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, we started off, we had Rusty Newman going back to Wesson. Rusty did a little tour of Southwest Mississippi. He went Wesson, Enterprise, Boyd Star. If he ever writes a book one day, I'll probably be the ghostwriter for it. But he wanted to go back to Wesson, and so that job opens up, and he goes back, which is home for him. I think the one that obviously shocked everybody, Robbie, was whenever Pat Bridges left Lawrence County for Brookhaven High. Coach Gray, Charlton Gray, everybody knows him as Ray. He had stepped down from Brookhaven. And so when I heard the names that were interviewing for that job, it was a couple of guys that were longtime coaches in Southwest Mississippi, and Pat being one of them. And I was honestly kind of surprised. But Pat's a friend of mine. We go way back to when we were students at Colin. He was on the basketball team. My wife's from Lawrence County, and I just kind of feel like he was looking for a challenge. And, Pat's been able to do a lot at Lawrence County over the years by just getting his kids to play hard. And Brookhaven's got a really, when you win 5A in football, it means you got athletes in your school. And they've got kids, Robbie, that are great athletes that don't even play football, that are just basketball guys only. I mean, I heard you talking about Caston Thompson. Imagine Caston Thompson playing tight end at Brookhaven Academy back in the day. I mean, people used to be like, man, we just get him out for one season. But then Pat taking that job was just kind of like that first domino falling, and then Coach Patterson from Macomb goes to Lawrence County, and then Coach Gray goes to Macomb, and we just have like a little full circle, man. Listen, they should all get together and trade gear. They're all around the same size.
For the same money.
You can have my polo and this hoodie and this sweatsuit, and I'll take yours, and everybody would probably save a little money doing that.
Two things that lately that surprised me. Osborne Holmes makes the announcement a couple of days ago that he's retiring from Tylertown as the head football coach. A little bit surprised at that.
Yeah, timing. It being the end of the school year, really kind of surprised. I think maybe Tylertown has somebody in-house when you see decisions like that. Maybe they know who their next coach is going to be. But, I've always enjoyed watching Tylertown. A lot of people, when they're fans, they talk about, like, they want to throw the ball. Oh, I wish our coach could throw the ball. But they don't understand how hard it is to develop guys that can get open and guys that can get them the ball and guys that can protect the quarterback. I mean, y'all know the quote about when a quarterback drops back to pass, three things can happen and two of them are bad. And so I just always had a lot of respect for Coach Holmes, because if you go watch the Tylertown Chiefs, they use their speed and they sling the rock around the yard. They're always a fun team to watch.
The other is Josh Watts going from Brookhaven Academy, coming down I-55 to be the head boys basketball coach at Park Lane.
Yeah, Josh is a good friend of mine, and sometimes it just feels like, you need a reset, Robbie. You need to, like I said with Pat, just find another challenge. I mean, coaches are by nature competitive people, and I think that was the case with Josh. Is just, hey, let's go take this Park Lane job. Park Lane had some good size last year, and those guys were returning. And I talked to Josh that day, and it wasn't an easy decision for him, because he's got a group of guys at Brookhaven Academy that are going to be juniors next year. He's really invested a lot in. He's really seen them get better over the years. They were good junior high players, and BA is dropping down a class. So, he told him, he was like, look, I don't know who the next coach is going to be, but I expect you guys to be really good next year, and I want you to win every game other than when you play Park Lane.
Alyssa Adams leaves Southwest Community College as an assistant coach to take the head job at Brookhaven Academy as the girls' head coach and the athletic director. A little surprised at that?
Well, I just think that whoever was the one that pulled the trigger on that at BA, as far as like making that happen, did a great job. I'm a huge Alyssa Adams fan. I think she's one of the best young coaches in the state. She gets them to play really hard. Her West Lincoln teams were a lot of fun to watch, just well coached. Just nobody out there doing anything other than what they've been taught to do, and she demands toughness. If you watched her play at Southwest when she was a point guard, she's from Hancock, and if you've ever spent any time down there in Hancock County, man, they are tough. They put castor oil in their bottles down there, man. I mean, they are just they're a tough breed of people.
And when your daddy's a sheriff down there, you know you're tough.
Oh, son, I'm telling you what. To be in law enforcement, I spent some time down there after Katrina cleaning up, and we cleaned up around Kill, and man, I've seen people nearly come to blows over the last sausage biscuit in a little store there in Kill at 7:50 in the morning, and I'm like, boy, this ain't Southwest Mississippi. This is a different place down here.
Any word on the Colin women's basketball coach? Was Coach Stevens Belanger leaving?
Yeah, it's just kind of setting back with Colin being in the national tournament for softball. So they're gonna start interviews on Tuesday. I don't know who all. I know a lot of people apply because a lot of people apply for any of those jobs when they come open. I got a couple people in mind that I think I hope applied for it, but I think that Brian Noble and the committee will get going on that next week whenever they hopefully come back into town with another national championship in softball.
Cliff Furr's name's not in there, is it?
Do what?
Cliff Furr's name's not in there, is it?
Oh no, man, no, gosh, no. I will tell you this. I'm waiting on board approval, but I am going to be back in coaching next year. I'm going to be coaching 7th and 8th grade boys basketball at Alexander Junior High, and that's where I teach. Today's my last day as a teacher, and my wife said, "How do you have time for another job?" And I said, "Well, my son played last year. I went to all the games last year, so the only difference is next year I'll be driving the bus and sitting on the bench." But I'm excited about it. I'm a basketball coach down at my core, and I'm excited about maybe getting to teach the game and to younger kids, and developmental, fundamentals, all that fun stuff.
They don't know what's fixing to hit them, do they?
Well, I'll talk to them a little bit sweeter than Dennis Sims talked to our players.
I don't think anybody could talk any sweeter than Dennis Sims can talk to us players.
He taught me some words.
I bet he did. Taught me some words, and I was 30 feet from him. Brookhaven offensive lineman Cordero McDaniel, what do you hear on him as far as going after high school?
I think he's pretty solid to LSU. James O. Covington is his advisor.
Lord.
Well, y'all were talking about Caston. James O. is Caston's.
I know.
Caston's guy as well.
Some things you just don't mention, though, Cliff.
So James had told me that back, when he was, I think that you like for LSU to offer you, if somebody like Alabama were to come along and offer you, but I don't think anything is going to sway him from Ole Miss. Part of the relationship he has with Ole Miss is they're one of the very first places to offer him and Derwin Fields. And that's, and look, I told Brookhaven fans, I said, when Derwin committed to Texas, I said, don't run out and buy Texas gear yet. The world that we live in with the cash offers that get made for this kind of stuff right now, don't buy Texas stuff yet. But if you want to buy something with McDaniel on the back of it for Ole Miss, I think you're pretty safe with that. Cordero is a great kid, Robbie. I mean, he is. That's part of what I love about my job as an 8th grade English teacher is I get to see these kids when they're younger, and he is one of the most beloved kids in Brookhaven. If he ran for mayor, he would probably win. He is a 6'7" jolly giant is what he is.
What are you hearing on Jaden Poole from Bogota?
Well, I mean, I'm excited for him that I've seen his offers pick up. Southern Baton Rouge offered him recently. Southern Illinois offered him recently. Man, Jaden's such a good-looking kid at like 6'2", probably close to like 190 pounds or so. And I just think as the year goes, Coach Mancuso is going to run the wing tee, and I think he's going to have a huge year. And I would expect him to keep getting offers, and then it's going to be about him deciding whether he's going to go to JUCO or he's going to go, I could see him getting more SWAC, Southland, and maybe even some Sunbelt offers. Great kid. His dad, Kendall Poole, was a quarterback at Brookhaven High for Greg Wall on a team that went undefeated in the regular season for Coach Wall. Coach Wall's first really great Brookhaven High team. So comes from a really good family, Jaden Poole does.
Cliff, Neil Randall. Robbie told me not to ask any hard questions, but here goes.
Well, you're the professor.
Good job.
Looking at all these coaching changes here in our area, how do you explain this when years ago you had people who stayed at places, Ronald Gill at Bogachita, Jack Case at West Lincoln, Castles Wilson at North Pike, and I know Dutch Nichols at South Pike, and you can go on and on. What's the big difference here in your opinion?
Well, Neil, I think it goes back to those coaches coached during a time where parent interaction with coaches was limited. I think that they coached during a time where kids were taught at home to completely respect their coaches. As long as their coaches were not telling them to do something illegal or doing something illegal, and even some parents, they didn't care if their coach did something illegal if they won.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
We live in a world today where things like not just text messages, but things like the Remind app that coaches use to alert parents about changes in practice and schedule and things like that. It gives and also I just think parents ask kids hey, what happened at practice today? What did the coach say? What did when you had to run? Was who was touching the line? Who wasn't touching the line? And I just think, man, I just think that being a coach in this in the environment that we live in, that sometimes it'll make you, when you're in a bad situation where, please don't hear me say that all these coaches leaving were in bad situations, but it will, when you do have something where you got friction, it'll make you wonder, what else is out there. And we live in a place where there are tons and tons of coaching jobs, and some of them are better than others, and that's something people need to understand. The Brookhaven School District treats coaches pretty well. I mean, the coaches will tell you that. They get a stipend and they get days. Other places get percentages. And if you don't make a whole lot and you get told, okay, you're getting 5% of your salary, hey, 5% of nothing is nothing. And I think that has to do with it as well. Coaches just looking for, because the hours are so long, and they're longer now than when those guys were coaching. Ronald Gill, he probably did something with him in the summer, but now the culture of coaching is, it's like June and July are just times for these teams to practice. And I don't necessarily always agree with all of that, because it's like, basketball season's a long way away. Let them practice for other sports. Do some stuff with them to keep them in the gym, but don't make it seem like a job when they're in high school.
Cliff, this is Richard. Hey, probably don't have enough time for this answer, but I'll ask you a question anyway. You can kind of wrap it in a big bow.
I'll try to be short.
That's okay, because we talk about coaches moving. We heard during the week that a couple of coaches in Alabama got suspended for basically outright recruiting players from other schools. We've had players moving for years for various odd reasons, and we know why that is. And how much of that did you know of actually goes on, and what's the level of it with what's going on just above them in college with this NIL stuff?
I think it's definitely a trickle down. Definitely. I think that, if you told me 10 years ago that kids would be putting out graphics about transferring in high school, or graphics about signing with where they're going to play high school, I'd say, man, get out of here. But that's the world that we're living in right now. And look, I mean, obviously we had a big one here in Lincoln County where Jordan Keys transferred to Lloyd Star to BHS, and that was something that you heard talked about on the street as soon as the BHS run ended. People were saying, "Oh, Jordan Keys wants to come to BHS next year," and all I heard was people saying, "Well, they better make sure that all their I's are dotted and their T's are crossed, because when you have things like this happen, it just brings more scrutiny." And the situation in Alabama, I've been keeping up with it. I read AlabamaAL.com every day, and the thing about over there is, Moody wins a state championship. Pell City hires their coach, and then he brings his whole team with him. Well, hey, Charles Huff can do that when he leaves Marshall and goes to Southern Miss, but you can't do that in high school and not expect people to be ticked off about it.
Coach Furr, thanks for joining us this morning.
Love talking to you guys. Hey, anytime you need me all summer long, just give me a holler and we'll talk ball.
We'll do it. Cliff Furr with Y'all Sports joining us this morning. We'll be back. We'll be talking to the head coach of Simpson Academy Baseball, Keith Case, right after this. Welcome back. Chasing Foul Balls Friday morning, Southwest Mississippi. Boy, it's been a rainy week, to say the least. Softball and baseball tournaments must be going on for all this rain.
You're the best weather forecaster there is.
That's it. Just have a baseball or softball tournament, and I can promise you it's going to rain, no doubt about it. Join us on the phone, the head coach of Simpson Academy. I want to try to get all this 4A Division II champion. Is that right, Coach?
I think so. That's what they told me.
Yeah. They had to write it down, didn't they?
I tell you what, sometimes it's hard to keep up with what's going on, the way the playoffs are. I just tell them when we're playing and tell us when we're through.
Who's put you in a wheelchair out there for you to get the trophy?
Look, I told you I would get on with this if you didn't get on for me, but
I just figured we might as well throw it down to start with.
I will tell you, Robbie, that going back and riding a yellow school bus and then having to make that trip out to the mound, it is tough at times.
Well, we used to time you how long you was going to stay in the game until you got thrown out. Now they just time you how long it takes you to get from the dugout to the line.
I can't argue with you.
Difference in high school. You got out of high school for a while. You were a community college coach for a long time. You was a community college athletic director. What's the difference in getting back in high school coaching?
The kids are the same. I have really enjoyed the relationship with the players. My years at Colin, my years at Warden in Texas, those relationships with players were probably the biggest reward that you can get. And if you get in coaching anything else, you're missing some stuff. And then you get back to high school, even though they're younger, I think the relationships are very rewarding. The biggest challenge for me and probably the communication. We joke about getting older, but I coach these guys, and now I'm coaching their son. So we're talking about 2 or 3 generations, and being able to communicate with them and get across what I'm trying to get across and them understand. Because ultimately, it's not how much a coach knows, but it's how much you need his players to know.
When you won the championship against Lamar, you had to move the game to Colin because of all the rain. How special was it to win that championship back at Colin?
I can't even tell you how special that was. That was so rewarding. we had probably 25, 30 old Colin players at the ball game. At times during the game, you actually catch yourself reminiscing a little bit. It was special. Did not realize until they took the team picture, and I get back and I see the Dennis White press box behind me. So many special people in 21 years that come in. That includes you, Robbie, because you made several trips with us, and the relationships that we formed, and then to go back and one more time have fun with kids. In 2000, I wasn't expecting a cooler of ice water dumped on me up there, but it got dumped on me. And it happened to be by Chris Dunn's son, Wynn. So in 2000, Chris dumps one on me when we win the regional. And, heck, what year is it? 2026, son dumps it on me. So that was pretty cool.
Well, Keith, the only thing that I ever told you I wouldn't do with you is go back to Baton Rouge, and I still stand on that.
I'll be honest. I miss a lot of things, but I hope I don't have to go back to Baton Rouge either.
It's not that I don't want to go back. I'm not going back, so let's leave it at that.
Coach Case, Neil Randall, congratulations on winning this championship. They're all different, but they're all sweet. I can remember running into you in the early days of your coaching career, and I'm sitting here trying to remember where I ran into you. If I know you've been. We knew you at Colin. We knew you in Texas. Give us a little history of your coaching career, just briefly, from when you first started out, where you were.
I spent a couple of years in Yazoo City at Manchester Academy.
Yeah.
And fortunate enough, we had really good players and won a South State championship there. In fact, it's kind of ironic. My first coaching job, we lost game 3 of a state championship to guess who? Lamar.
Really?
And that was also in the back of your mind a little bit also. And I left there, and I spent 3 years at Jackson Academy before I had a chance to get to Purvis High School, and really enjoyed that time there. We all know the Hattiesburg, the Pine Belt area, that's a baseball hotbed.
Yes.
And they love baseball, period. And we were fortunate enough to, again, to have good players. I think we gained football at the game for 4 years. So that was really a special time, and I've enjoyed watching Purvis get better and better as the school and the county has grown also. And being fortunate to go to Colin and feel like we spent a lifetime there. We spent 21 years, but the girls grew up on campus at Colin. It was a great place to coach, great place to raise a family. Can't say enough about my time there. Retired. No plan, was going to take a year off, and all of a sudden get a call from Wharton in Texas, and we ended up in Texas for 11 years. And again, enjoyed all the friends we made out there. It was an adventure, that's what I call it. But once those grandkids moved back to Hattiesburg, it was time to move back home.
Hey, Coach, this is Richard Hay. So good to hear you. So glad to have you back in Mississippi. But following the Cougars down the stretch and all those close-in ball games, my thoughts were, are the Butterflies still the same from those days at Colin, at Wharton, or the places you've played before and coached before? Are the Butterflies still the same and the decision still the same, even though you're talking about young high school kids?
No question about it. If I ever lose the passion for the game, I need to quit and walk away. I still get so fired up. And I tell the guys, and it was a long stretch there the last couple of weeks, because we did have back-to-back days. We had some extra innings, 11 inning game, 1 another. And I told them the day after we took a W, and then we met and pick up some equipment and met with the team and told them kind of what was going on from there. And I told them, I said, as tired as I am, I've got a downer because I really want to practice this afternoon. I know that sounds crazy, but I miss getting out in the field with the guys.
Your time at Jackson Academy, is that where you learned how to recruit for Cole Lynn and Wharton?
No, sir. If anybody finds out that Keith Chase is recruiting another high school kid to another high school, you tell them they're lying. I will not do that. If they want to come to me, I'll take them, but I will not go out. I've got too many friends in this business, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, here we go.
Keith, this is Neil. Keith, this is Neil again. I probably shouldn't ask this question, but
no, go for it, Neil.
Okay, all right. I feel better already. Can you give me a one-word description of the MAIS playoff situation?
Does that last?
You don't have to answer.
I know what they're trying to do. There's so few of the larger schools, but sometimes you try to make things better and it gets worse. I didn't say they did that, but I say that.
You're saying that could happen in a given situation, but not necessarily.
It could.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I will tell you this: they put all of the 6As and all of the 5As together from the year before, and they took the top two. Well, the year before there were 2 state champions, 6A and a 5A. And that's what I told our guys. Our first round was against Prep, and we had 2 close games for those guys. Like the guy way our guys competed against them. And we just probably a coaching decision, and I'm being honest when I say this, probably a coaching decision really cost us in game 2. And you get on to your guys sometimes, but I got on to the coach that time because I heard our guys. But once we lost that series and dropped to Division II, and I was worried about our guys thinking, well, we're not playing for anything, but credit them. They really, every game, it didn't matter where we told them to go or where we told them to stay, they were really into it. And I'm proud of them for that. And I told them when we met after the Prep series, we're playing for what was the 5A state championship last year. So I'm okay with that. Now, if we played for something that wasn't there, maybe not. But we're probably where, with our enrollment, we were supposed to be.
Well, a big year for Simpson, no doubt about it. State champions in fast pitch softball, cross country, girls basketball, archery, girls track, also in baseball. Where y'all will put all those trophies?
I tell you what, that's up to Mr. Shows, Drew Lone, all of those guys. They can put them where they want them. And that's what I told the guys. When I moved back from Texas, all the trophies and plaques from all those years, they really are. They're in containers in the attic of the house. But the relationships, you can't build it. We're going to lose 3 guys off of this year's team, and they were a big 3. We only had 2 seniors. Chase Adcock, who's a senior, going to Jones, and Braden Allen, a senior, going to Colin. But we had a junior that ended up being a big banger for us and had two big home runs down in Oak Forest he and Chase both had big days down there to get us past the Oak Forest series. But J.D. Lane is a junior, but after Christmas, we won't have him. He's the number one long snapper in the country in the junior class, well, in the upcoming senior class. And it's been pretty cool because the morning we leave to go to Colin to play, he actually worked out with Penn State. And Monday, before we go to Lamar to play, he worked out for Ohio State. And I'm proud for him. I tried to offer him some NIL money, an old fishing tackle, and an old Army rifle, but I think I'm going to get beat out on this one. He'll graduate at Christmas. That's where I'm going to with this. He'll graduate at Christmas and go to spring training with a Division I school in football next year.
Well, Coach Case, thanks for being with us this morning. We sure appreciate it. Good to talk to you again.
Guys, I appreciate being back, and I know you guys are – I'm a state guy, but all of those Golden Eagles are rolling too, aren't they?
I tell you what, playing good baseball right now, aren't they?
I hope that they finish up a top 8 seed and host all the way to Omaha.
Good to talk to you, Coach. We'll see you in a little while.
Have a great day.
Same to you. One final thing, guys. Bad news. Slits beer is being discontinued.
Yeah, I saw that, and I saw where my buddy Dorsey Statham said when he had his first one, he didn't realize it, but Slits was 116 when he had his first one, and that had to be 60 years ago.
We'll see you next Friday morning on Chasing Foul Balls.
Just started to play my favorite song. I just found my baby and I want to get a chance to hold her. So don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. I said don't turn out the lights, don't turn out those lights, don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.